It's the weekly special. Today, some VCLT, some music related books, some records I played during the week, and a listening session with my new pal Gareth Fitzgerald. All this and more. I should have a jingle going after this if I was really conscious of making this video cool, but I'm not. Just want to talk about music. So, first off, VCLT. So this week was my birthday, and unrelated to all this, I received two packages. So it was very nice to receive two VCLT packages, even though they were not planned that way. On the week of my birthday, it made me feel really, really good, actually. So the first package I received was on Wednesday, and it came from Jeff Double O Cabbage, Jeff McLennan, in St. John's, New Brunswick. Known Jeff for about 8 years now. I've been on the VC for 8 years. When people talk about the old days of the VC, that was us really. That's pretty much. And we've been in contact, and on sort of an online friends for all these years, and I always appreciated Jeff, and I always enjoy his videos, and he's a great human being. So thank you so much, Jeff, for these records. Jeff sent me two records, and he knows that I'm fond of especially Quebec French language progressive music. So he got me two really, really cool records. The first one that was in the box was this really, really cool looking kind of folk prog, although admittedly it's more like a folk record by Raoul Duguay. It's called Allô tout le monde. Just looks exquisite, doesn't it? And so I had high expectations when I put it on turntable, and I wasn't disappointed. This is a lovely, French language, very Quebec French accented, which I like. It's good. Record, little progressive. I really, really enjoy this. I played it twice. This is a real keeper. I really like this. It's more like a chanson kind of LP. And he also sent me this again folk prog record by Paul-André Thibert, who used to be in the band Dionysos. This is called Musique de mes amis Dionysos, which means music of my friends Dionysos. He was in a band and he plays their songs. And yeah, this is a very folky but progressive Quebec, and I really, really like this too, and I'm really grateful that you sent me both these records, because I have a small Quebec prog collection with some classics, Tubabou and Manège, and Beau Dommage and things like that. So these were records that I didn't know about, and I'm really, really, really stoked to get them. So thank you, Jeff. And the second VCLT package came on Thursday from Christophe, Chris4127 Basket from Switzerland, whom I've met 3 times already. Last time I met Christophe, we were in a shop in Basel in Switzerland. It was in 2016, and we were talking about this record here, and The Water Opened by Between, which is the absolute must-have classic by the band Between. Between is a kind of a new agey world fusion krautrock band led by Peter Michael Hamel, and he said, I've got 2 copies of these. So I mean, fast forward 2 years later, and he sent me a package, and that was in there. That was the first record, and I love this. This was on my want list. I was really, really, really stoked to get this. And then in the package were 3 more records. That was just so generous. I mean, especially sending me this. This was just so cool. Also on my want list, Dave Pike set on MPS. This is an original pressing. This is just a lovely record. This is a European jazz record featuring Volker Kriegel, and obviously Dave Pike is the band leader. Um, this is like it's a bit like a kind of a European blue note record. It's got lots of vibraphones. It's really like a really great. It's more a jazz record than a jazz rock record, if you will. I was stoked to get this. So happy. And then in the package it was also this here, which I was very ignorant about, no idea. Michel Zacha, French kind of folk prog. I was talking about folk prog, about the records that Jeff sent me, but this is very similar in a way. Bit more progressive, perhaps. And you've got on this, you've got Marc Chantreau, who is very famous on the French scene, great drummer. And you've also got Jean-Pierre Alarcen, who used to be in the band Sandros. So this is progressive, but it keeps a very sort of like a French chanson kind of it's rooted in that kind of. I really love this too. I'm saying this about all the records, but they're all great. And then finally, there was this private press from Switzerland by a guy called Guy-Philippe Ayer, Diaphane. And this was quite an interesting little record. Lots of Moog and ARP synth. So it's a duo record. Not everything is great on it, but it's got some interesting moments. It's sort of like sometimes it could be a little bit cheesy at times, but I don't mind it. It's kind of like one of those Moog or library records. It's got this. But I still really love the fact that you sent me this, because I would never find this here in Australia. So Christophe, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Great VCLT. Jeff, likewise. You are both great friends, and if I find records that I think you would like or would looking for, surely we'll send them to you too, because that's what we do here. Some books that I found this week, just very quickly, this week and in the past weeks. A great book on Turkish music, particularly Turkish psychedelic music. Is this book called The Turkish Psychedelic Music Explosion, Anadolu Psych, 65 and 1980. I found this in a local bookshop in Melbourne. Very cool book. Lots of historical details. If you want to know about Mogolar or Erkin Koray or Cem Karaca or Baris Manko, for instance, or as I said, Erkin Koray or Selda, this is the book to get. Fantastic, not very expensive. And also another book that I found. Now, this is a book that I wanted to buy when it came out, but it was just too expensive. It is called Uncompromising Expression, Blue Note. It's a very big coffee table book. And this was in a local bookshop, discounted 60%. So it cost me $40, which I couldn't resist for that price. Very heavy, I can hardly carry it. But you've got, classic Blue Note sleevage. And there you go. What a page to find. So there you go. A couple of books. I thought you'd be interested. Now, some records that I played this week. I'm going to try to speed up. I'm 9 minutes. Maybe we'll keep it within 20 minutes. We'll try. So this week, these are records that I played this week. I'll show you this last week. I found this at the Box Hill Fair. Great jazz record, especially side 2 is great. Side 1, hit and miss. Side 2, fantastic. I revisited my copy of Christophe, Samurai. Christophe is to me one of the most important sort of progressive pop singers from the 70s in France. And this record and Les Mots Bleus and Les Paradis Perdus are essential records in my opinion, if you want to get into French music of that time. I always talk about Histoire de Mélodie Nelson. Well, this is a very easy record to get. It's just absolutely phenomenal. Really like beautiful progressive orchestration. Excellent. It's a record that I got at the Box Hill Record Fair, the soundtrack to Shapaka, a movie featuring William Burroughs, Allen Ginsberg, and other uh, notable luminaries of the time. This is a wonderful raga filled, soundtrack. It's beautiful. In fact, this soundtrack was there's two versions of the soundtrack. There's one done by Ornette Coleman, which was rejected, and I think Steve Reich was worked on that soundtrack too. I remember reading the Steve Reich book. Sorry, not Steve Reich. Excuse me, Philip Glass. Philip Glass worked on it, but I'm not sure. I think it was rejected because considered too avant-garde. I'm not sure. I bought this at the fair last week. This is absolutely fantastic. I wasn't sure when I bought it. I thought, it might be good. This is Dizzy Gillespie at the Village Vanguard, 1967. The band is phenomenal. The band features, sorry, I've got my mind. I think Art Pepper, from memory. Let me see, because this is a great record to get. Who do we have? Chick Corea. No, it's not Art Pepper. Pepper Adams, Mel Lewis, Max Gordon. Really, really cool lineup. Very cool. I very highly recommend this album. It's a great cool jazz bebop. 67. I also bought this at the fair last week. Mike Westbrook playing the William Blake songbook. This is really good in parts, and in other parts it's kind of very sort of it's not great everywhere. But when it gets to orchestral sounds, it is brilliant. I'm not so keen on the vocals, but this was cheap, and you don't see Mike Westbrook very often. I'd say if you want to buy this, approach with caution. Got this at the fair as well. Little Feat, Dixie Chicken, very, very, very great, very good album. Just really funky southern rock, boogie rock. I mean, these guys they're on fire. They're brilliant. I'll talk more about Little Feat next week. I think I might revisit some of their other records. This is an old favorite of mine, François Rabat, Sazmorphosis on Moshe Naim. This is a great sort of Middle Eastern cello. It's cello meets saz. Saz is a Turkish lute, and this guy is a French musician, and I mean he's so classy and so delicate, and this is just really spacey music, expansive, very expansive music, beautiful. I played One World by John Martin, and why I played One World is because at the fair I recommended Gareth Fitzgerald to buy this record. There was a really beautiful copy for cheap. I said, you got to buy this, and then I went home and I played my copy because this is the second best John Martin record after Solidaire. There's just no question about this. If you don't believe me, just listen to it yourself and you'll get an idea. I talked about Elliott Smith last week. This is one of my top 10 records of all time, and I stand very firmly by that statement. Although, mind you, it seems like I've got 50 records in my top 10, but we all do, don't we? But this one is firmly in my top 10. It has been ever since it got released in 1998, which is when I bought this album, not the record, but the CD. And I played this. Like this record changed my life. Just about it changed my life. Changed the way I listen to music. This is a wonderful, wonderful album. I don't think Elliott Smith made a better record. People say to you that Elliott Smith made better records than that. They no, not in my opinion anyway. This is a great record. DEF, Deutsch-Amerikanische Freundschaft, Robert Girl, and what's the other guy called? Gabriel, something, a Spanish guy. This is a superlative kind of, German um, you know, electronic records. You know, really, really filled with dance floor anthems like Sato Sato and the Mussolini, and they were very ahead of their time in 1979 or something. I'm not going to talk too much about this. I played this. I enjoyed it. It was good. Uh, Georges Brassens, one of my favorite singers, French singers. I've got every one of his albums. I've got, see, they're numbered 1 to. I've got 1 to 12. I must be the only person in the whole of this country who's got the whole series. And I played number 9. This guy is a monument of French chanson. His songs are studied in schools. His lyrics are off the charts. I mean, but you have to be French. I mean, I'm sorry, but you know, there's no two way about it. If you listen to this as a non-French speaker, the genius will not appear to you. Kreidler, Appearance in the Park, German band, neo krautrock, if you will. Electronics with live drums. This is a killer album, absolutely killer. And I've had this for quite a few years, but I hadn't played it for. And this is from 1998. Killer neo krautrock electronic record. Geez, I've still got a lot of records to show you, but I'll try to go fast. And by the way, if I seem to have played a lot of records, because I have. I was off one day this week, so I had time to play lots of records, and also this weekend I played records like back to like heaps of records. Bell and Sebastian, the BBC sessions. I've spoken about my love for Bell and Sebastian many times on this channel. This is a great little session, and the first half is from the golden era, 1996. So it's really great. Noi 75. So I was talking about Kreidler a minute ago. Well, if you like Noi, you'd like Kreidler probably. Although they're more electronic than Noi. Noi are guitar and drums. But this is Noi's best album, really. I mean, you know, Noi 75. It's got Hero in it. Hero is, you know, it's a masterpiece, you know. Klaus Dinger and his pal Michael, or Michael Hotter. This is a great record, which people should know about. Johan Timman. It's not Tin Man, it's Nid Man. Trip into the Body. Check this out for a record. This dude is Dutch, and it's like it's a Moog Fest. It's a very, very cool Moog Fest. This is what he plays. This is him there, Mr. Tim Man. And every song is composed around a part of the body. The first song's called, there's the brain, the heart, the blood, the windpipe, the lungs. This is just a really great record. And this copy is a Dutch press signed by the man himself. It's cool, isn't it? Even though I wouldn't even know who it was really, but yesterday morning I really enjoyed Morphine. I mean, people, if you don't know Morphine, if you don't know this band, you just you know, 3-piece. Mark Sandman, sorry, is the vocalist leader. He died very young, and he plays a 2-string bass, which he plays with a slide, like a bottleneck slide. And there's a saxophone and drums. You wouldn't think it works, but it just totally works. I bought this at the fair last week. I played this twice. This is a masterpiece. Cara. This is Solo Cora by the great man Tumani Diabate. It's his first solo record. Very cool. Terry Riley Lifespan. Movie soundtrack. Amazing soundtrack. Not as minimal as other Terry Riley efforts, but still very cool. Geez, I still have a lot of records. At least, you know, you couldn't complain that I don't show you records. It's already 90 minutes. Shit. If you make it through this video, good for you. The BBC Radiophonic Music, BBC record. So these are a library record featuring Delia Derbyshire. If you know who she is, great. If you don't, look it up. It's good music. Yesterday morning, I enjoyed revisiting the Dexys Midnight Runner, searching for the Young Soul Rebels. Kind of like a blue-eyed soul post-punk record. Really essential to any post-punk collection. This is a wonderful, wonderful record. Don't dismiss them. They're a great band. And don't think of them as the band that did Come on Eileen, because, you know. Yes. Miss Fontaine and Areski and the Art Ensemble, you know, arguably their finest moment. Although I personally prefer L'Incendie, but, you know, it's a question of preference. I was talking about Turkish music. I really, really love revisiting electronic Türkler by Erkin Koray, the revolver of Turkish music, or whatever, or the Sgt. Peppers of, no, maybe not. Forza Bruta. I mean, I've spoken about this record on my channel so many fucking times. You don't even need to hear about this. Just check my videos, check my Brazilian videos. La Terra by Actuala. Italian jazz world fusion band. An absolute masterpiece. Record that I bought in Rome a few years ago. Fantastic. Alright. Now, let me have a look. Now, just records. Look, I've got two or three more that I played. And then let's talk about the session I had with Gareth. We'll do half an hour. It doesn't matter. I mean, who cares? If you want to watch, you watch. If you don't want to watch, you know, don't watch. This I bought at the fair last week. Freddie Aguilar, a great record. Kind of like a soul, folk funk kind of album. Lovely. This morning I played those two electronic records when I woke up. Macular Transfer by Gareth, formerly of Tangerine Dream. Original on Brain. And then this great record, David Pritchard, Bouillabaisse Nocturne au Ver de Terre. It's a record from Canada, a record from Canada. I think the first Canadian artist to be signed on Island Records. There you go. It's a bit of useful trivia for you, or not. So yesterday afternoon, I went to Gareth Fitzgerald's house. I met him last weekend. And so he invited me. We had his girlfriend made dinner for us. That was lovely. I stayed from 3 o'clock in the afternoon to nearly midnight. Yeah, midnight I left. Well, it was a long session, so you can see how many records you can play. We played some of his records, and I brought a bag of records, which we just not even played half of because, you know, this is the way it goes. So these are a few records that I played with Gareth yesterday, and I'll just finish on this. Now, we had a great session. It was really, really fun, and we will do it in a couple of weeks. We played... Whoops! Whoa! We'll leave this in the video. Arthur Verocai, the self-titled, you know, one of the 5 best Brazilian albums ever, really. Buy with confidence. We played a couple of sides of Mariah, which is an album from 1983 from Japan. Basically, it's a Japanese new wave band playing Armenian songs, and it sounds like the Talking Heads. We played the Orient Express, which is a sort of a raga rock meets psych, done by a bunch of French guys. It's really, really killer. It's a beautiful record. We played Alain Peters, the Nick Drake of the Indian Ocean. Resta Marina. We played the first 3 songs, and I think Gareth was pretty impressed. We played Mogola, and I'll talk about this. You know, this is a must. Like, if you like Turkish music, you've got to have this. We played Jazz Sahara, Ahmed Abdul Malik, absolute masterpiece of record. We played a side of Pomegranates, Persian pop, funk, folk, and psych of the 60s and 70s. If you gotta get a compilation of Persian music, make it this one. It's amazing. We played a side of La Planète Sauvage soundtrack. We played a couple of tracks of Shri Camel by Terry Riley, of which this is a promo copy. Nice to have. We played the first couple of songs of Anima Latina by Lucio Battisti, which is probably, in terms of Italian progressive pop, one of the landmarks record that you need to visit. The first song, notably, is absolutely killer. We played some African music, Pierre Akadenge, Nandipo, on Sarava, a great sort of like almost Brazilian sounding African record from Gabon. We played the side of Person Pitch by Panda Bear. First side actually, Comfy Nautica and Take Pills. The Beach Boys on Acid in Brooklyn somewhere. And finally we played a side of Bad Bad Not Good, number 3. And obviously we played his records, like he's got lots of really cool African records, some cool Middle Eastern record. I mean, he's got a great, really great collection, very broad, lots of styles of music. So it was great. Anyway, geez, I would have showed you like a ton of records in 27 minutes. If you watch, you watch. If you don't watch, you don't watch. It doesn't cost me anything anyway. It cost me like half an hour of my time. You know, who cares? I know that some of you enjoy this kind of, you know. So thank you again, Jeff and Christophe, for your VCLT. I really do appreciate. Thank you, Gareth, for your lovely afternoon yesterday, inviting me, and thank you to all of you who are commenting and watching. And I don't always respond to comments at the moment. I don't really generally respond to comments, but I read them all. So just, you know that they've got to me. If you're wondering, they have got to me. Thank you, VC.